Welcome back, everyone, to Grind and Grace. We're starting with part four of our series of getting out of a business funk or getting out of a personal funk. And we started on a discussion of business coaching. Now, Charles here has a lot of experience with business coaching. He has invested in several different business coaches, and one of the biggest ones was Tony Robbins. And so we're going to pick that apart directly, where we're going to have Charles discuss his experience with the Tony Robbins program and what he's got from it. So, Charles, if you want to go ahead and kick off.
Yeah. So great introduction. At the end of the day, I think any program you're going to get out of it what you put into it. And so if you come in there open-minded and with the, hey, whatever you say, I'm going to do, then I think you're going to go a lot further. And Tony Robbins in particular, he's known as a mindset coach. And a lot of people say, oh, he's motivational. No, he helps you get the mindset necessary in order to be successful. So for example, it's kind of like if we're going to exercise, it's like, okay, well, what routine did you do to get your chest defined? Or how did you get your abs, your six-pack abs? Those are kind of like the specific exercises or the tactics that are used to do that. But before you even can get the six pack abs, or before you can even get those pecs, you need to first like have the discipline to go to the gym.
Okay. So, what made you even say, I want a business coach, and what specifically made you choose Tony Robbins as a business
Yeah,
coach?
great question. I actually had a dream. So actually, I'll say this. So when I opened my very first business, which was my accounting firm, well, it wasn't my very first business, but it was my very first full-time business where I left my business, my employment for. And I didn't, I knew how to do taxes well, but I did not know how to run a business. And as a
Hmm.
result, I started running out of money. And when I found a coach in accounting, then the business started making more money. And he showed me how to do a value proposition. So then I realized, okay, well, coaches can help get you further. But for example, Michael Jordan had a coach. Tiger Woods has a swing coach. And many people will probably say Tiger Woods is better than a swing coach. Why would he need a coach? But it gives you accountability. It gives you uh, additional eyes on you
Hmm.
to help you improve. So I had a dream that I was in this like tropical kind of area, walking with Tony Robbins in some sort of garden, and he was telling me stuff like that I knew was powerful, and I didn't remember what he said when I woke up, but I was just like, huh. And the next thing you know, I was listening to Tony Robbins on YouTube, and then he had something coming up, and I ended up attending it. And it was some sort of conference, I can't recall. And in that conference, he made a call to action. Oh, yeah, so I ended up buying some sort of conference. He made a call to action like, hey, there's something called Platinum Partners, and you can join this, and it's an exclusive group, blah blah blah. And so I was like, oh, I already had that dream, and I felt like I was supposed to. So I joined in, and I'm actually very grateful I did.
Okay. So that kind of explains why you ended up choosing Tony Robbins. So
Mm-hmm.
you went to this conference. You obviously experienced something good because it made you, I guess, invest into the next level of what can you do next. So, tell us without going into too much detail about the actual
Right.
events of in the conference, like, what is it your main takeaway from attending this conference, and was that where the value stopped? Like,
Hmm.
did it end with that conference, or was there anything going forward from that was given to you as value from that investment?
It's a great question. So, like I said, I think everything is what you make of it. And I could have made better of the opportunities I was presented with as well. But I made the best I could, I believe, at that time, and based off of where my business was. Because if I was looking to bring on clients, I could have got a ton of clients from there, high-end clients too, because these are the most successful people in the world going there. And I say that because The program I was in, it was like a minimum of 85,000 every year just to be a part of that one program.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, they had excursions, which was an additional 10 to 15K per excursion on top of the 85. And then, you had to pay for your own flights and,
Mm-hmm.
travel and all that. So I say all that to say I could have actually earned more in the clients I got from there than I paid for the program itself, but I was not in a position to bring on clients at that time. And so did I get stuff out of it? Yes, that gave me the mindset to want to go out here and, try again, because that was at a period of time where I tried a few things and a lot of things weren't working. I was in a funk.
Mm-hmm.
So it was more, it helped me want to try again.
Okay, so what I'm taking from that is it was a motivational experience or rejuvenation experience.
I'll say rejuvenation, yes, but they also gave tactics on, how to save. He kind of gave you some economic insights. He let us know the recession was coming before a lot of people fully knew.
Mm-hmm.
At the time when, you were selling, this was at 2022. So yeah, there was still bullish tendencies in the market. And they were starting to dwindle down, but they were still.
Yeah. Well, from the euphoria of 2021, then yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, like he would, he's connected. And I think he's coached like 7 or 9 presidents or something like that in his lifetime. I can't recall exactly, but he is very influential. He'll get billionaires to come in and have the billionaires teach, or he'll get the best person in any industry to teach about anything, so he has access. And he says proximity is power. So not only just to him, but if the people in the room, if we're some of the 5 people we hang around most, and we have access to meet, 100 million, $1 billion people, because at that time I had a package delivery company too with Amazon. I met a guy who had like, at that time I had 38 trucks because he was asking me. I met this guy, and he's like, "So how many trucks?" And I got 38 cargo vans, and normally the people I meet here, that was like a good amount. And he's like, "Oh, okay, well that's good. Keep going." And he had 300 like 18 wheelers.
Your goodness.
Yeah, and he had like 400 of another type of thing, and I was just like, "Oh shoot, like this guy, this guy's different."
That was big time.
Yeah, big time. And he gave me his contact information. To this day, if I looked, I couldn't tell you exactly which name was his, but I mean, he was willing to work with me and he was also bought into U.S. post offices, and which every U.S. post office is not owned by the government. Someone else owns these centers, and you just get a lease for life. Like the government pays well too, so
Mm-hmm.
that's how they make all their money with just buying these buildings, and the post office will lease it from you, which is
Yeah.
wild. Did you know
Yeah.
that?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, yeah. And so I was looking into so long story short, um, I had opportunities that had I taken advantage of, you know, one of maybe 10 that were present, it could have been way more than it was. But at that time, I was just trying to get the mindset to just keep going.
Yeah, yeah. And also, it sounds like you didn't have a direction to apply it to, or the direction that you could have applied it to wasn't the direction that you wanted to apply it to.
Right, that's correct.
Yeah.
That's
And
correct.
and so had that had that had not been the case, you could have blew up from those
Literally.
contacts, had you gone with the direction that you were already in, which
Exactly.
was the tax
Before.
accounting.
And I'll go back because I wanted to figure out how to do a few things. Like I wanted to write my book. I wanted to get like a platform out. I wanted to develop, build an audience. I wanted to have things that I could add value to people's lives with. And I have a list of contacts that I could have just sent and said, "Hey, I'm back in the game now," and I would have had an inundation of clients. But I didn't want to go back to serving them in the old way. I wanted to serve them at a higher level, and I was trying to figure out how to scale my firm better so that I could reach more people.
Yeah, yeah. I can see that. So all in all, it sounds like there would have been more value um, than what it cost you if you were able to monopolize on or capitalize
Oh yeah,
on that.
without a
So
doubt, without a doubt. Matter of fact, like so, where your business is right now, like a fully operational business, um, with processes and things built in place. You go to these networking events because no matter what business you're in the people business. And all these owners, they were owners I met who had what's that called? They had retreats, like or hotels. There were people who had logistics companies. I met other Amazon package delivery people there. I also met people Airbnb, corporate housing. I mean, almost anything you can think of that it's a way to make money from videography to whatever. Like they're there.
would and this is a long shot, but would you consider, and you don't have first-hand experience either, but would you
Hmm.
compare it to like a fraternity?
Yeah, I would. Because it's the whole program, Platinum Partners program is designed to for you to bond with these people over the course of a year. And literally like not only will every major event, because these events will have like 10, 13,000 people at it, um, not only would you be able to get into every event that he does, but he'll also make it to where there's exclusive platinum partners events where you go in and so you're going to see each other a lot throughout the course of the year, maybe 8 to 10 times, and you're immersed. You're going to spend like 5 to 7 days with them, and you spend like 12 to 16 hour days at a time. So it's kind of like people who have been through a traumatic experience together become close,
Hmm.
or people that have served become close um, because you're in peak state for so long, you're near the people around you, you feel close to them.
Yeah, yeah. I can definitely see that being the case. So man, uh, would you invest it in again?
I would. Matter of fact, I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but there was a guy there I met, and I probably met him one time, and we just connected at one of the events, and he was a partner and I was a partner. Then there was an opportunity came up where I needed some additional cash flow. I mentioned it to him, and he gave me 75K. Like, hey, here, test this out, and I was going to pay him back with interest, but still, like, he didn't really know me like that, and he still gave me. Did I ever tell you about that?
No, this is the first time I heard.
Yeah, yeah. This was last March or last April,
Yeah.
and so I mean, you get close to people from there. I would definitely. I am going to go back. It's just I needed to figure out what I was doing at this point in time. I was in Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, and one other program at this Brandon Dawson Cardone Ventures. Actually, I was in this program that taught you how to build your stage presence and how to develop a signature talk. I was in that too, the signature talk workshop. So I was in 4 different things, and I had no time to implement. I was just learning, learning. All right, let me learn from this. All right, what'd you say? All right, how about you? And so I didn't have time to fully implement. I was like, hey, let me go back, implement all this stuff I've been learning, and then I'm going to go back and learn some more.
Okay. I mean, that's interesting. Like we've talked about it many
Mm-hmm.
times, but actually more in this interview format. I feel like I got a better understanding than what I did with just letting you explain out of excitement. So like this
Mm,
more curated approach, I guess, was more informational. I imagine it'd be very informational to everybody that's able to listen,
hopefully.
and people that are in that path where they have direction of what they're doing, and they can know directly going into something like this what they can come out with. And it's not just what they can get from the conference, it's from the community
Right.
and also what they can provide to the community at the same time. So
Exactly.
definitely, if you have a professional service, it's something you can provide to. I mean, I imagine if you were selling a product, it may not. Well, unless it
No, it
would
would.
be a product that could benefit the people.
Absolutely.
If you
And I mean, there are people there.
if you're selling toothpicks, like hopefully you give it the restaurant people. Like, oh man,
Yeah, yeah. No,
just
literally. And,
just
and
starting out.
sell millions of toothpicks because several people were restaurant owners, restaurant chains. I met this guy who had a chain of car washes, 300 different things. And I was told him about the employee retention credit.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was charging a percentage. I didn't even want him as a client. because at that time I just wasn't
You're
ready.
phasing that out.
And
Yeah.
I was like telling him to go to someone else. And had I brought him on, that could have been an 8-figure deal for me.
Yeah.
But like that's how
Yeah.
it's out. It was out there. I could have easily won on any one of the many. I just wasn't. I was burned out at that time.
Yeah. So you mentioned a couple other names, Brandon Dawson, Grant Cardone, who was the one other name?
Pete Vargas, Myron Golden.
Yeah. So let's sum up all those together. And sorry if any of those names are bigger than others or anything, but uh, we dedicated this whole show to the Tony Robbins specific venture, but we're gonna sum up all the next ones in part 5. So come join us on the next one, part 5. We'll see you next time.